Good morning, people. Election fraud, election scandal, election scam. What's happening? Where it's happening? Well, it's Brazil, Portuguese America. What's happening down there? Well, a lot is happening down there. Let's take a look at what they're telling the people and what I've been following and seeing for the last couple of weeks and the build up to this. Because I already knew, you already knew, most of us already knew the way of the election or election system. Let's take a good look at this, because can this lead to civil war in Brazil? Could Brazil be headed to a civil war now that things don't look right? This is just my opinion on what I'm seeing, how I'm connecting the dots and formulating things. Let's take a look at this because it's kind of important. Now, you go down to the election justice in Brazil, and basically it's asking, why is the process being electronic? Why are we, trusting electronic? And it's basically, if you go to it, it says to minimize, I saw it here earlier, to minimize human intervention. Yeah, right here. Para diminuir o máximo da intervenção humana. So basically they want to have less human intervention when it comes to electronics like this, because it could be robbed if it's like that, and elections could be robbed and things could get flipped around. So they're showing different various ways on why it's important to have these election machines dictating the future of your country. So now there it is on the news there from a few days back. Bolsonaro está pronto para dizer que eleições foram roubadas. So there it is. Bolsonaro now is ready to say that the elections were robbed. Now, Bolsonaro, if you look at the polls and everything and what's happening, he was taking off like a bird. He was going like almost to 53% of the vote in Brazil. He was dominating the voting. He was going to win the election. There was no other way, if ands or buts about it. And then something tricky happens. Just like in the American elections, just like all the other elections, something happens. And then somebody else comes and rises to the top. And that's what's been happening in Brazil. And this may lead to civil unrest of some sorts, right? So let's take a look at this. So there it is. And it goes in to say here that in this time, there was a part here that said that he was basically one of the worst presidents. Right here. Bolsonaro sabe todos of the aspects. He was the worst president that Brazil has ever had. So the mainstream media there is already basically, there it is, they're massaging it to let people know that he was the worst president. But why? So I took this up from a documentary I made before. You see his hands up there, and he's shaking, and he's kind of riding through the streets in Brazil. And he actually informed the people in Brazil that he'll be doing this ride if anybody wants to join him in public, just like that. This reminds me of Gaddafi. When Gaddafi would ride the streets of Libya once a week or twice a week, and he would go around shaking his hands up, and people in Libya would be, crowds would be surrounding him. I got to be careful here. I don't want to, this is my documentary I made in Portuguese here. Let me just maybe fast forward this so you can see the crowds around him, and he ends up in a parking lot, and he's surrounded by people all over him, hugging him and kissing him and thanking him or whatnot. So this kind of reminds me what he's doing here of what Gaddafi did in public, basically in public in Libya. So roubo. So the electric voting, and not to interfere with elections, and that's what the justice system of the elections is saying, that this is a good way and it's the safest way to stop election fraud and whatnot. And they said that it's not going to interfere, and that's the police writing that. So look at the police already warning people. Why? Well, aliados do Trump fazem, so allies of Trump make campaigns in the internet about Bolsonaro and create fraud and lies and fraud. So what's happened is, who is Bolsonaro in Brazil? He is the Donald Trump of Brazil. He's basically told the climate, this crap, get lost. We're not taking the juice. We're not part of this. We don't want to be part of the WEF. That's who Bolsonaro is. He's basically the Donald Trump of Brazil, in a way. Or whatever way you want to put it. I don't want to piss people off that like Bolsonaro and don't like Trump, or like Trump and don't like Bolsonaro. I'm just letting you guys know this is just my perspective. So, there it is. And here, so they're already painting this, and it's all rigged. Now, here it is right here, and there's the elections right there, and this guy, who basically screwed his country over big time, what was it, 7 years ago, and there's the results right there, and look at this, miraculously pulls up ahead and wins out of nowhere. He was in the dust, and who did this happen to? We spoke about this. A Biden selection, say hello to California, housing out of reach, double-digit inflation, and Taiwan. This is over a year. This is almost during the you-know-what. And we covered the American elections live 4.5 hours until they had to shut it down so they could get the votes all fixed up. And that's what happened there. And we go into, who else? Macron is finished. Police might join the Yellow Vest movement before the you-know-what, because the Yellow Vest movement was going 60, 70, maybe 80 weeks. And they were basically, it was against Macron. And and who wins that next election? I did it on my backup channel. Macron then just won an election a few months back, even though nobody likes him. And he was losing at the polls terribly, but he came back somehow to win. And same thing, liberal government will call a snap election and win. It's all fixed, rigged elections worldwide. So there it is right there. I called basically, when was it? 9 months or 10 months before the snap election was actually called. I knew they were going to do it because in-person voting was dangerous. And what else do I have here? And that's just my Portuguese channel. So I just wanted to throw this out there. Could this election meddling or what's happening in Brazil, could it lead to a civil war? That's my question to you guys. This is just my opinion. This is what I see that's happening. This is how I see it's happening. It's kind of important that we take, all perspective and everything in factor. But why is the media massaging people? Why is the media telling people that electronic machines are safe? Why? Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Come and visit me down at the shop. I'm here anytime you guys want to talk. I'm always here here in Merritt at the Merritt Toys and Games. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is getting way so visual, and we just did a video. It's becoming way too obvious that even the woke people are going to wake to this. That's what I meant to say. If you look at a video I made, that Justin Trudeau slightly favored above Poilievre, right? So we actually did a poll on our channel here, and we discussed this on Mike in the Night. If you want to watch a real uncensored show, watch Mike in the Night on Odyssey. Okay, I'm going to go to our poll that we made here. Let me go to our community. So we made a poll here. We discussed here. Just want to go to it right. It's kind of important, so if you're still watching, thank you so much. And so basically what's happening, Liberals and NDP and Bloc vote in favor of increasing carbon tax in Canada, even though we're at a negative position with carbon. And we did our own. Who will you be voting for? Let's conduct our own survey. Please share. So 582 votes. So it looks like that Trudeau's getting crushed by Poilievre here, and Bernier's second place. So these two guys down here, this guy down here and this guy down here, does not stand a chance. This guy's not too bad because people are actually, almost 20% of the vote. And Poilievre is crushing Trudeau. So if you read the articles, they're stating that, let's see if I can find it here. The articles are stating that Trudeau is more favored over him. So it's probably way down here on the channel. I'm not too sure here. Yeah, it's probably way down here. Yeah, it's... Anyways, I wanted to there was the Mike of the Night there. Canada boasts a capacity to key supply hub for weapons to Ukraine. I can't find it, guys. I know it's here somewhere. I just can't. I know I did the whole thing, and we discussed it And wow, how far back does this thing go? Wow, 11 days. All right, guys, I'm really, so there you go. You guys have a whole run. That's when they squash my video. When it gets popular, they squash my video. So don't forget to share my videos out there. And yeah, I'm not getting anything here, guys. Right here. Justin Trudeau slightly favored over Poilievre for Prime Minister in new poll. So when you read that and you understand what is going on and kind of figure out that it's so obvious. So what are they going to do next? What's the next move? Because they're going to have to figure something out. Because it's just too damn obvious. Now it's happening in Brazil. It's going to happen all over. And they're going to get the WEF or the World Economic Forum or whoever these people are who claim to be off the taxpayers' money are going to go ahead and move the pieces into position that they need. And 2022 is continuing to be the year of the protest, like we said. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm talking too much. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.